Are you on track? That's the question. You want to know, am I doing everything I need to do to put myself in a great spot so I can retire early? Or you might go, I really like what I do. I just want to do it because I want to do it, not because I have to do it. And so when I talk about retirement planning, I don't even love the word retirement. I just want you to know when work can become optional. You might find you want to do something else, still bring in income, but you're doing it truly because you want to. And that's the difference. So what I'm going to go through in today's video is what is the average, meaning how much should you have in your different accounts at what age, and then tell you how averages actually play out in real life. Because too often people say, hey, what's your risk tolerance on a scale of 1 to 10? I don't know, I'm an 8 today and a 2 tomorrow. So that doesn't really give you confidence, meaning am I on track? A lot of people come to me and they say, yeah, I've got an 85 or 90% chance of success that I'm going to be okay. And I'll say, well, then go retire. And they go, yeah, but what if something happens? I go, that's the difference here. Too many people will rely on an 80 or an 85 or a 90% chance that they can retire, but there's a real risk there. What if things don't go well? What if you end up retiring and getting unlucky? And what if markets take a big downturn? So making sure you're protecting against the big risks while at the same time taking advantage of what's actually most important, saving to the right accounts, making sure you're optimizing your investment strategy, having a tax plan, saving to not just the right accounts, but making sure you're not house rich, cash poor, or qualified rich, cash poor. We're going to go over all of that fun in today's video. My name is Taublieb. I'm a certified financial planner. I'm the host of the Early Retirement Podcast, and I invite you to subscribe if you're looking for more information on investing, tax strategy, wealth management, estate planning, healthcare, you name it, you're in the right spot. So let me start by showing you what the average net worth is, but I'm going to tell it to you with a quick story. So here we are, we're looking right now. This is done by Empower, who put this together to say, hey, what's the average net worth and the median net worth in terms of age by decade? So the majority of you that are watching these videos, you're in your 40s and your 50s, maybe even early 60s, going, hey, what should my net worth be? What's the average? How do I think through this? Am I on track? I want you to throw this number into the toilet. And the reason I want you to do that is because I'm going to tell you the story from my parents. My parents, their net worth is north of $7 million, and they are not in a position to retire, and they are in their 70s. And so a lot of people go, well, how could that be true? Do they want to spend like $1 million a year? No. What's happening is you could have a net worth that's really, really high because you have a home that's worth $4, $5, $6 million. But if you have no intention of selling that home, you don't intend on using it for an asset, you're simply living in that home. Well, you could have a home worth $10 million and you have no retirement income strategy. So how much your net worth is, that's not what I care about. What I care about is how are you going to create income in retirement, because that's the name of the game. So if you have portfolio and pension and Social Security and rental income, well, now you have a lot of different income sources that you can pull from to create that dream retirement. The problem here is too many people look at net worth and they take that number and go, well, it looks like I'm at about $1 million, or I'm nearing 1.5, or I'm nearing 2 million. So I'm getting closer to retirement. Your net worth could increase exponentially, and that might mean you're nowhere closer to retirement. It might mean the exact opposite. So that's not to scare you. That's just real life stuff here. I don't work with robots. I work with humans, and humans don't simply look at their financial strategy and go, oh my gosh, $1 million, $2 million, I see I'm going to be fine. They go 1 million, 2 million. I think that's good, but I don't know. What is good? How much is enough? What you need versus what your neighbor needs versus your coworker is all very different. So this is a number we're going to throw in the toilet, as well as the median net worth, because the truth is I don't want you to simply retire on averages, but I personally, I even like knowing this number because it makes you go, okay, not because I go retire on this number or this is the leading factor, but it makes you go, huh, that's interesting. This is the average. Where might I size up here? And someone with $1 million as a net worth in their 50s, or someone even in their 40s nearing $1 million, I might rather be someone else who has a net worth of $500,000 because that's all income potential, meaning their net worth is $500,000, but maybe they have a pension that's going to begin once they retire, and that'll provide $3,000, $4,000 a month. Well, that's very different from having $1 million in net worth that you can't actually use. Here's the next one I want you to look at: average 401k balance. So you can see the average 401k balance right here. You can see in your 20s, $75,000. You can see in the 30s, $160,000. Your 40s, $340,000. 50s, you can see getting closer to $600,000. This is the average. But a lot of you are watching this right now going, hey, I'm right around there, or this is nowhere near where I'm at. That's not what I'm worried about. What I'm worried about is you simply add money to your 401k and you don't add money elsewhere. Because if you want to retire early, you have the option of using the rule of 55 or taking a 72T distribution. There's all these fancy tactics, but the best one is simply having a brokerage account. Having a taxable account, a brokerage account, a joint account, an individual account, they're all the same exact thing. I call them the superhero account because there's no limit to how much you can put in it, and you don't have to worry about all the rules regarding when you can tap into those funds. So a brokerage account can be awesome to help bridge the gap. So let's assume bridge the gap, almost think like mind the gap when you're in London. So if you're thinking about bridging the gap, if you retire at, let's say, 54 and you can tap into your IRA or 401k at 59 and a half, okay, well, that's 5+ years where we need to somehow pull income from, and then we can tap into the other accounts. Ideally, and a pro tip is that you have more wiggle room. You don't just wait until 59 and a half and start pulling. You actually can hopefully delay that a little more because then you can implement even more tax strategy. It's more tax savings. So making sure you have a sufficient amount in the brokerage account, not just the 401k, that's important to think about. In terms of the actual numbers here, I like to keep it really simple. If you're doing everything right and you're following a good withdrawal rate, meaning you're being really efficient as to how you pull funds in retirement, if you have $1 million, that can easily generate $50,000 a year. So that's $50,000 a year that you could easily generate from $1 million portfolio. So if you have $2 million, if you're doing the right things, you can easily generate $100,000. So the question to ask yourself is, how much do you need? I have this free cash flow planner. I don't put a paywall behind it, but you can see it right here. That's what's going to help you determine your expenses, and it's going to help you make a really clear kind of retirement plan for what expenses are going to be there today, meaning what am I still paying for? Maybe it's kids' college, maybe it's vacations, and then what are going to continue to be there throughout retirement. You're still going to take vacations, but maybe kids' college is no longer a big payment. Or you might find, you know what? Right now, I'm saving a really healthy amount. In the future, I'm not going to have to save as much. So it's very common for people to go, well, I'm bringing in $200,000 a year right now. Do I need to replace that in retirement? No. More than likely, you're saving a very healthy amount. Let's call it $30,000. Then there's other deductions for medical insurance, etc. So now you might very well be looking at maybe $150,000 that you might actually need. And if that's in a brokerage account or a Roth IRA, well, some of these things you can be really tax efficient with. So now all of a sudden you're making $200,000 today. You might only need $120,000 or $140,000 in retirement to essentially give you the same lifestyle as $200,000 today. So don't let that confuse you. That's a common myth. The last chart that's my favorite that I want to show you guys is this one right here. It's called the Rule of 72, and it's a really cool shortcut. And you can see up here, if you take the number 72 and you divide that by your annual rate of return, it'll tell you how long it takes to double your money. So for example, if you take 72 and divide that by 10, meaning a 10% average rate of return, it'll essentially take you 7.2 years to double your money. So you can see here what looks really, really amazing is how long it takes to double your money based on the rate of return that you're receiving. Now, you can see the average rates of return here, S&P 500, gold, T-bonds, real estate. None of this is exact. It's an average. But if you look at these bubbles down here, I really like this, even if it's really simple. It just shows the power of compound interest, which most of you know very well, but the key here is the earlier you get these dollars in, the more that you're able to save. If you can save $200,000 in your 30s, well, that becomes $400,000 and then $800,000 and then 1.6. And then all of a sudden it's, oh my gosh, I have $1.6 million. I'm in my 50s. I'm in a good spot. So a lot of you are asking me, am I on track? How do I know I can retire early? What do I need to do? Number one is ask yourself, how much do you want to spend? Meaning and don't feel like you need to be perfect. Too many people make that mistake as well. But ask yourself, how much do you want to spend in retirement? Let's call it $100,000. Okay, if you want to spend $100,000, you might go, oh my gosh, I need $2 million. And I'm nowhere near that. Well, it might mean you need to work a little bit longer so that you can save enough to get to that point. Or it might mean you go, wait a second, what if I take a job that pays a whole lot less, but I retire earlier? And if I enjoy it, maybe I end up doing that for a few more years. So it's very common for people to take that route. Other people go, you know what, I'm going to stop working, but you know what, my spouse, she's going to continue. So as long as she's still working or he's still working or they're still working, you absolutely know that you're going to be okay. to meet your retirement goals. You might find, oh my gosh, we don't have children as a couple, so we don't have specific legacy goals. Or you might be single watching this and you might go, oh my gosh, I think I need 2 million. My neighbor has 2 million. If I don't have 2 million, I'm not. Don't think that way. That's head trash. I want you to know that what you need is very different from your neighbor, your coworker, your friend. You might need way less than them. And I don't want you to work 10 more years unnecessarily, or even 5 more years where you're stressed and you don't need to be. I see so many people make the number one mistake, what I call goalpost planning. Yeah, once I have 1.5 million, I'm going to retire. Yep, 2 million. Yeah, 2.5, 3 million. I'm done. One more bonus. Okay, I'm almost done. And they keep pushing the goalposts back. And financially, it's not going to be a problem. It's going to improve your situation. But the real risk is that you look back and go, hey, when was I going to say it's enough? How much truly is enough? Because it's really hard to say, yep, I've had it, happy to no longer bring on any more income. I'm going to be just fine. That's difficult. I'm not expecting that, but I'm expecting you to go, you know what? I don't know exactly how much is enough, but I feel really comfortable with how much I want to spend in retirement. I've done some in-depth planning. I know I am going to be okay. Even if markets take a downturn, I'm never going back to work. That's the level of confidence you need. And if that's what you're looking for and you want to partner alongside someone with, that's what we do. Now, we don't work with everyone. We work with people looking for the holistic approach, the tax, the insurance, the estate, the wealth, the healthcare. That's the difference, is people working with us do want the whole package, not simply buy this stock. So if that's what you're looking for, I encourage you to reach out. We do have a wait list at the moment, but we want to help as many people as possible. So I invite you to apply, and we're looking forward to working with you.